Jake lived alone in a small apartment on the 5th floor of an old brick building. His life was simple and predictable. Every morning, he woke up at 7, made coffee, and worked from home as a computer programmer. He liked his quiet routine. No surprises, no drama, no complications. His apartment was his safe space. He had arranged everything exactly how he wanted it. A comfortable couch faced the window overlooking the busy street below. His desk sat in the corner with 2 monitors and a keyboard. That clicked just right. The bedroom was small but cozy, with a bed that he had bought 3 years ago and never shared with anyone. Jake was 28 years old and had been single for 2 years. He told himself he was happy this way. Work kept him busy during the day, and in the evenings, he watched movies or played video games. On weekends, he sometimes went for walks in the park or grabbed coffee at the shop downstairs. It was a peaceful life, maybe a little lonely, but peaceful. That Tuesday night started like any other. Jake had finished work around 6, ordered pizza for dinner, and spent the evening watching a crime show on his laptop. By 11, he was tired and ready for bed. He brushed his teeth, put on his usual pajamas, and crawled under the covers. The street lights outside cast long shadows across his bedroom wall, and the distant sound of traffic helped him drift off to sleep. He slept deeply for about 3 hours. Then something woke him up. At first, he thought it was a noise from the apartment upstairs. His neighbors sometimes came home late and walked around in heavy boots. But as his mind cleared, he realized it was something else entirely. There was weight on his bed. Someone was sitting on the edge of his mattress. Jake's heart jumped into his throat. He kept his eyes closed, trying to make sense of what was happening. Had someone broken into his apartment? How was that possible? He lived on the 5th floor, and his door had 2 locks. His mind raced through possibilities. Maybe he was still dreaming. But the weight was real. He could feel the mattress dipping. Down where someone sat, he could hear quiet breathing that wasn't his own. Very slowly, he opened his eyes just enough to see through his eyelashes. A woman was sitting on his bed. She had long, reddish-brown hair that fell over her shoulders. Her skin was pale, almost glowing in the dim light from the window. She was facing away from him, looking toward the door as if she was trying to figure out where she was. Jake's breath caught in his throat when he realized she wasn't wearing any clothes. She seemed to be shivering slightly, and her arms were wrapped around herself. She looked confused and scared, not like someone who had broken in on purpose. For a moment, neither of them moved. Jake wasn't sure what to do. Should he pretend to be asleep? Should he say something? Should he call the police? His phone was on the nightstand, but he would have to reach across the bed to get it. The woman suddenly turned toward him, and their eyes met. She had the most beautiful green eyes he had ever seen, but they were wide with shock and embarrassment. "Oh no," she whispered, her voice soft but clearly distressed. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to be here. This wasn't supposed to happen." Jake sat up slowly, pulling his blanket up to his chest. "Who are you? How did you get into my apartment?" The woman looked around the room frantically, as if she was seeing it for the first time. "I don't know. I don't understand this. I was just at home, and then suddenly I was here." "At home? Where is home, and how did you get past my locks?" She shook her head, looking more confused by the second. "I don't know. I really don't know. I was in my bedroom, getting ready for bed, and then I felt this strange pulling sensation, like I was being dragged somewhere. The next thing I knew, I was here." Jake studied her face. She didn't look like she was lying. She looked genuinely frightened and confused. But her story didn't make any sense. People didn't just appear in other people's bedrooms. "Look," he said, trying to keep his voice calm. "I don't know what's going on here, but you need to tell me how you got in. Did someone let you in? Are you hurt? Do you need help?" The woman looked at him with those incredible green eyes, and he could see she was trying to figure out how to explain something that couldn't be explained. "I know this sounds crazy," she said quietly, "but I think I might have teleported here." Jake blinked at her. "Teleported? Like in science fiction movies? I know how it sounds, but I can't think of any other explanation. 1 second I was in my own room, and the next second I was here. There was no traveling time in between, no walking, no driving, no nothing. Just suddenly here. Jake ran his hand through his hair. This was definitely the strangest thing that had ever happened to him. Okay, even if that were possible, why would you teleport to my apartment? I don't even know you. I don't know you either, she said. I've never seen you before in my life. I don't know why I'm here or how this happened. They sat in silence. For a moment, both trying to process the situation, Jake found himself believing her, even though everything she said sounded impossible. There was something about the way she spoke, the genuine confusion in her voice, that made him think she was telling the truth. What's your name? He asked. I'm Luna, she said. And I'm really, really sorry about this. I know how weird this must be for you. I'm Jake, and yeah, this is definitely the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. Luna looked around the room again, taking in the details. Your apartment is nice. It feels peaceful. Thanks, Jake said, not sure how to respond to that. Do you need some clothes? I have a bathrobe you can borrow. That would be great, thank you. Jake got up carefully, trying not to make the situation more awkward than it already was. He grabbed his spare bathrobe from the closet and handed it to her, turning away while she put it on. Okay, I'm covered, she said. When he turned back, she looked more comfortable, though still confused. The bathrobe was too big for her, but it suited her somehow. So what happens now? Jake asked. Can you teleport back to wherever you came from? Luna closed her eyes and seemed to concentrate. Jake watched her face, wondering if she was actually going to disappear right in front of him. I can feel it, she said softly, the same pulling sensation. I think it's starting to happen again. As she spoke, Jake noticed something incredible. Her body was becoming slightly transparent, like she was fading away. He could see through her to the wall behind. I'm going back, she said, her voice sounding distant now. I'm sorry about all this. I hope I don't bother you again. Wait, Jake said, reaching toward her. Will you be okay? But his hand passed right through her arm. She was fading fast now, becoming more and more see-through. I think so, she said, her voice barely audible. Thank you for being kind to me. And then she was gone. Completely gone. Jake was alone in his bedroom again, sitting on his bed in his pajamas, wondering if he had just had the most vivid dream of his life. But the bathrobe was still warm where she had been wearing it, and there was a faint scent in the air, something like flowers and vanilla. The mattress still showed the impression where she had been sitting. Jake lay back down, but he couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling, replaying every detail of what had just happened. A woman named Luna had appeared in his bedroom, claiming she had teleported there by accident. Then she had faded away like a ghost. It was impossible, but it had happened. The next morning, Jake woke up wondering if it had all been a dream, but when he looked at his bathrobe, he could still smell that faint floral scent, and somehow his quiet, predictable life didn't feel quite the same anymore. He found himself thinking about Luna throughout the day. Her green eyes, her soft voice, the way she had looked so lost and confused. He wondered where she had come from and where she had gone back to. Most of all, he wondered if he would ever see her again. That evening, as he got ready for bed, Jake caught himself looking round the room, almost hoping she might appear again. But the night passed quietly, and he slept alone. Still, something had changed. His apartment felt different now, charged with possibility, and for the first time in years, Jake's predictable life felt like it might be about to become very unpredictable indeed. Jake spent the next 2 days thinking about Luna. He couldn't focus on work properly. Every time he tried to write code, his mind wandered back to that night. He kept wondering if he had imagined the whole thing. Maybe he had been more stressed. Then he thought, maybe his brain had created this elaborate dream to deal with his loneliness. But then he would smell that faint floral scent on his bathrobe, and he knew it had been real. On Thursday evening, Jake was sitting on his couch eating dinner and watching the news when he heard a soft thud from his bedroom. His heart started racing immediately. He muted the TV and listened carefully. There it was again, a quiet sound like someone moving around. Jake grabbed a baseball bat from his closet and slowly walked toward his bedroom. He pushed the door open and peeked inside. The room looked empty, but something felt different. The air seemed thicker somehow, like before a thunderstorm. He was about to turn around when Luna appeared right in front of him. 1 second the space was empty. The next second she was standing there, looking just as surprised as he was. "Oh no," she said, covering her face with her hands. "Not again." Jake dropped the baseball bat. "Luna, you're back. I'm so sorry," she said, looking around frantically. "I was hoping this wouldn't happen again. I was trying to control it, but I couldn't stop it." Jake noticed she was wearing a blue dress this time, which was a relief. At least she had been dressed when the teleportation happened. "How long has it been for you?" he asked. 3 days, she said. "I've been trying to figure out what's happening to me. I went to see a doctor, but how do you explain something like this?" They thought I was having some kind of mental breakdown. Jake sat down on the edge of his bed. "I've been thinking about it too. I even looked up stuff about teleportation online. Most of it was just science fiction." Luna sat down beside him, keeping some distance between them. "I'm scared, Jake. What if this keeps happening? What if I can't control where I go? Has it happened with anyone else? Have you appeared in other people's places?" "No," she said. "Only here. Only with you." "I don't understand why." They sat in silence for a moment. Jake found himself studying her face. She looked tired, like she hadn't been sleeping well. Her green eyes had dark circles under them. "Are you okay?" he asked. "I mean, besides the teleporting thing." "I'm exhausted," she admitted. "I've been afraid to sleep because I don't know when it might happen again. And when I do sleep, I have these weird dreams about being pulled through space." "Maybe you should try to sleep now," Jake suggested. "You look really tired." "I can't sleep in your bed," Luna said quickly. "That would be too weird. You can sleep on the couch. I'll stay in here. That way if anything happens, we'll both know about it." Luna looked grateful. "Are you sure? I don't want to cause you any trouble. It's fine." Jake said, "Honestly, I'm curious about this whole thing. Maybe if we observe it more, we can figure out what's happening." Jake gave her a pillow and a blanket, and Luna curled up on his couch. She fell asleep within minutes, which told him how exhausted she really was. Jake tried to stay awake to watch what happened, but eventually he dozed off too. He woke up around 3 in the morning to find Luna standing in his bedroom doorway. "I'm fading," she said quietly. "I can feel it starting." Jake sat up and watched as she became translucent again, just like the first time. Within a minute, she was gone. The next morning, Jake called in sick to work. He spent the day researching everything he could find about teleportation, parallel dimensions, and unexplained phenomena. Most of what he found was either science fiction or conspiracy theories, but he did find some interesting articles about quantum physics and consciousness. One article talked about how some scientists believed consciousness could exist in multiple dimensions at once. Another discussed the possibility of people being able to move between parallel realities. It all sounded crazy, but so did Luna appearing in his bedroom. Luna appeared again on Saturday afternoon. This time, Jake was reading a book when she materialized right next to him on the couch. She landed partially on top of him, and they both tumbled to the floor. Sorry, she said, scrambling to get up. "I still can't control where I land." "It's okay," Jake said, helping her up. "How are you feeling?" "Better, actually. I got some sleep after I went back, but I'm worried this is getting worse. It's happening more often now." Jake had noticed that too. The first time had been Tuesday night, then Thursday evening, and now Saturday afternoon. The time between appearances was getting shorter. "Luna, I've been reading about this stuff online. There are some theories about consciousness existing in multiple dimensions. Maybe that's what's happening to you?" "Multiple dimensions?" Luna looked confused. "You mean like parallel worlds, something like that? What if there are different versions of reality, and somehow you're moving between them? What if in some realities you exist, and in others you don't?" Luna sat down heavily on the couch. That sounds terrifying. Are you saying I might not be real? No, you're definitely real. I can see you, hear you, touch you. But maybe you're real in more than one place at the same time. And maybe your reality is one where I don't normally exist, Luna said slowly. So when I appear here, it's like I'm visiting from somewhere else? Exactly. That would explain why you always seem so surprised to be here. Luna was quiet for a long time, thinking, Jake, what if I get stuck? What if I appear here and can't get back to my real life? Has that happened before? No, but each time I'm here a little longer. The first time was maybe 10 minutes. Thursday was about an hour. Today I've been here for almost 2 hours. And I don't feel the pulling sensation yet. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. Are you saying you might be stuck here permanently? I don't know. Maybe. Would that be terrible? Jake looked at her sitting on his couch, her red hair catching the afternoon sunlight from the window. She looked sad and scared, but also beautiful. If he was being honest with himself, he wouldn't mind if she stayed. His life had felt more interesting and meaningful in the past few days than it had in years. It wouldn't be terrible, he said. But I'm worried about what it would mean for you. Do you have a family, a job, a life you need to get back to? I have a job, Luna said. I work at a bookstore, and I have a small apartment. But no family really. My parents died when I was young, and I don't have any siblings. I guess I'm kind of lonely too. I can tell you're lonely, Jake. I can. See it in your apartment, in the way you live. You're organized and neat. But it's like you're trying to make yourself as small as possible. Like you're afraid to take up space in the world. Jake was surprised by how well she had read him. You're right. I guess I'm lonely. I've been single for a while, and I work from home. So I don't see people much. Maybe that's why I keep appearing here, Luna said. Maybe somehow we're connected because we're both lonely. That sounds pretty far-fetched. More far-fetched than teleportation? Jake laughed. Good point. They spent the rest of the afternoon talking. Luna told him about her job at the bookstore, her love of mystery novels, and her habit of drinking tea while watching old movies. Jake told her about his work, his college years, and his dream of maybe writing a novel someday. It was the longest conversation Jake had had with anyone in months, and he found himself hoping Luna wouldn't fade away this time. But as evening approached, he could see her becoming slightly transparent around the edges. It's happening again, she said, looking down at her hands. I can see through myself. Will you come back? Jake asked. I don't know. I hope so. But Jake, what if next time I can't get back to my own life? What if I'm stuck here forever? Then we'll figure it out, Jake said. Whatever happens, we'll figure it out together. Luna smiled at him, the first real smile he had seen from her. Thank you. You're being so kind about all this. It's not every day someone teleports into my life, Jake said. I guess I'm curious to see what happens next. As Luna faded away, Jake realized his quiet, predictable life had completely changed. He was no longer just waiting for each day to pass. Now he was waiting for Luna to return, and he was starting to hope she would stay. Luna appeared again on Monday morning while Jake was making coffee. This time, she materialized right in his kitchen, startling him so badly that he dropped his mug. It shattered on the floor, sending coffee and ceramic pieces everywhere. I'm so sorry, Luna said immediately, looking around at the mess. I didn't mean to scare you. It's okay, Jake said, grabbing a towel to clean up the spill. I'm just not used to people appearing in my kitchen. Luna knelt down to help him pick up the broken pieces. This is getting out of hand, isn't it? I appeared 3 times last week, and now I'm here again. Jake noticed she was wearing pajamas. This time, soft blue pants and a matching top. Her hair was messy, like she had just woken up. Were you asleep when it happened? He asked. Double quotes. Yes, I was having breakfast actually. I was sitting at my kitchen table eating cereal, and then suddenly I was here. She looked confused. But I'm still holding my spoon. Jake looked at her hands, and sure enough, she was gripping a silver spoon. That's new. You've never brought anything with you before. I know. It's like whatever I'm touching comes with me now. Luna set the spoon on his counter. Jake, I think something is seriously wrong with me." They sat down at his small kitchen table, and Jake poured her a cup of coffee. Luna wrapped her hands around the warm mug and took a sip. "Tell me what's been happening on your end," Jake said. "Between the times you're here, I mean." Luna was quiet for a moment, then began to speak. "Strange things. I've been having dreams about being in multiple places at once. Sometimes I wake up and I'm not sure which bedroom is really mine. And there are moments when I feel like I'm seeing through other people's eyes." "What do you mean?" "Like yesterday, I was walking to work, and suddenly I saw the street from a completely different angle, as if I was someone else walking in the opposite direction. It only lasted a few seconds, but it was so real." Jake felt a chill. "Luna, I think you need to tell me everything that's happened to you recently, even the small stuff that might not seem important." Luna nodded and took another sip of coffee. "It started about 6 weeks ago. I was crossing the street near my apartment when a car ran a red light. It was coming straight at me, and I knew I was going to get hit. I could see the driver's face, hear the brakes screaming. I closed my eyes and waited for the impact." "But you didn't get hit?" "No. When I opened my eyes, I was standing on the sidewalk on the other side of the street. The car had passed right through the spot where I should have been. I thought maybe I had jumped out of the way without remembering it, but there were people around who saw the whole thing. They said I just disappeared and reappeared on the other side." Jake leaned forward. "What did you do?" "I convinced myself it was my imagination. People were saying they must have blinked or looked away for a second. I wanted to believe that too. But then other things started happening." "Like what?" "Small things at first. I would be in my bedroom and suddenly find myself in my kitchen. Or I'd be at work and briefly appear in the storage room. Always just for a few seconds. And always somewhere nearby. I thought I was losing my mind." "When did you first appear here?" 2 weeks ago. That was the first time I went somewhere far away, somewhere I'd never been before." Luna looked around Jake's kitchen. "I don't even know where I am right now." "What city is this?" "Portland, Oregon." "Where are you from?" "Portland too, but I think it's a different Portland. The skyline looks different from my apartment window. Some of the buildings are in the wrong places." Jake felt his heart racing. "Luna, what if we're not in the same reality? What if you're from a parallel version of Portland?" "That sounds crazy. Everything about this situation is crazy. But it would explain a lot. Why you don't recognize my building. Why you seem surprised by little things here." Luna was quiet for a long time, staring into her coffee. "There's something else I haven't told you? In my world, I live alone too. But I've been having these dreams about someone named Jake. Someone who looks exactly like you. You've been dreaming about me for weeks, every night. I dream about a man who lives in a small apartment and works with computers. He's kind and lonely. Just like you. In my dreams, I always wanted to meet him, but I never could. And then, I started appearing here." Jake felt goosebumps on his arms. "Luna, what if somehow we're connected across these different realities? What if you're being pulled here because we're meant to find each other? But why is it happening now? Why not years ago? Maybe because of the accident. Maybe almost dying somehow opened a door between worlds for you." Luna stood up and started pacing around his kitchen. "If that's true, then I'm not just teleporting. I'm traveling between dimensions. And each time I come here, I'm leaving my own world behind. Is that a bad thing?" Luna stopped pacing and looked at him. "I don't know. My life there isn't very exciting. I work at a bookstore. I live alone. I don't have many friends, but it's my life. It's where I belong." "What about here? How do you feel when you're here?" "Happy," Luna said immediately. "More happy than I've been in years. When I'm here with you, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. But that scares me too." Jake stood up and walked over to her. "Why does it scare you? Because what if I'm not real here? What if I'm just some kind of projection or ghost? What if one day I appear here and I can't get back, and then I just fade away forever?" "You feel real to me," Jake said. "You're solid. You can touch things. You can drink coffee. You're not a ghost. But I'm not supposed to exist in your world. There's no other version of me here." I checked. I looked up my name in the phone book. Search for myself online. In your reality, I don't exist. Maybe that's exactly why you can come here. Maybe there's a Luna-shaped space in this world that you can fill. Luna looked at him with those beautiful green eyes. Do you really think that? I think you appearing in my life is the best thing that's happened to me in years. I think maybe we found each other for a reason. But what about my other life? What happens to that version of me if I stay here? Jake didn't have an answer for that. It was a question that had been worrying him too. They spent the next hour talking about the implications of what they had discovered. If Luna was really traveling between parallel realities, then every time she appeared here, she was leaving her own world behind, and each time, she was staying longer. I need to test something, Luna said suddenly. I need to see if I can control this somehow. What do you mean? I want to try to go back on purpose, usually. I just wait for the pulling sensation to start. But what if I can trigger it myself? Is that safe? I don't know. But I need to understand what's happening to me. Luna sat down on Jake's couch and closed her eyes. She took deep breaths and seemed to be concentrating hard. I can feel it, she said after a few minutes. The same pulling sensation, but weaker. Like I'm fighting against it. Jake watched as she became slightly transparent around the edges. Luna, be careful. I think I can control it, she said, her voice sounding distant. I can make it stronger or weaker. She became more solid again, then more transparent, then solid. It was like watching someone adjust a dimmer switch. This is incredible, Jake said. You're learning to control it, but there's something else, Luna said, opening her eyes. When I'm in that in-between state, I can see both worlds at once. I can see your apartment and my apartment at the same time. They're overlapping. What does that mean? I think it means the barriers between our realities are breaking down. Every time I travel back and forth, I'm making the connection stronger. And I'm not sure if that's good or bad. Luna stayed for 4 hours that day, longer than she had ever stayed before. When she finally faded away, Jake was left with more questions than answers. But one thing was becoming clear: Luna was changing. The teleportation was getting stronger, more frequent, and more controllable. And Jake was falling deeper in love with a woman who might not even be from his world. That night, he lay in bed wondering what would happen if the barriers between realities completely broke down. Would Luna be trapped here forever? Would he be able to visit her world, or would both realities collapse together? One thing was certain: his quiet, predictable life was never going to be the same again. Luna appeared every day that week, sometimes for a few minutes, sometimes for hours. Jake started keeping extra food in his refrigerator and bought clothes in her size. He cleared out half of his closet without even thinking about it. His apartment was slowly becoming their apartment. On Wednesday evening, Luna arrived while Jake was cooking dinner. She materialized right next to the stove, nearly stepping into a pan of hot oil. Careful, Jake said, pulling her away from the heat. You almost got burned. Sorry, I still can't control where I land. Luna looked around the kitchen. It smells amazing in here. What are you making? Pasta with garlic bread. I made enough for 2. Just in case, Luna smiled. You were hoping I'd show up. Maybe, Jake admitted. I've been looking forward to seeing you all day. They ate dinner together, talking about their different worlds. Luna told him about her job at the bookstore, how she recommended mystery novels to customers in organized reading groups. Jake told her about a new project he was working on, a mobile app that would help people find lost pets. I wish I could see your bookstore, Jake said. It sounds like a nice place to work. I wish I could show it to you, Luna replied. Maybe someday, if we figure out how this all works. After dinner, they curled up on the couch to watch a movie. Luna rested her head on Jake's shoulder, and he could smell that floral scent in her hair. For a moment, everything felt perfectly normal, like they were just a regular couple spending a quiet evening together. But then Luna started to fade. No, not yet, she said, looking down at her translucent hands. I want to stay longer. Can you fight it? Jake asked. Luna closed her eyes and concentrated. Jake watched as she became solid again. I did it. I'm staying. But something was different. Luna looked exhausted. like the effort of staying was draining her energy. "Are you okay?" Jake asked. "I'm tired. Fighting the pull is harder than I thought." She leaned against him. "But I don't want to go back tonight. I want to stay here with you." "Then stay. We'll figure out what it means tomorrow." Luna fell asleep on the couch, and Jake covered her with a blanket. He stayed awake watching her, worried about what would happen if she tried to fight the pull too often. What if it hurt her somehow? The next morning, Luna was still there. She looked pale and weak, but she was solid and real. "How do you feel?" Jake asked, bringing her coffee and toast. "Strange. Like I'm stretched too thin." Luna sipped her coffee. "Slowly, I can feel my other life calling to me, but it's getting fainter. Like I'm losing my connection to it. Is that bad? I don't know. Maybe it means I'm becoming more real here, or maybe it means I'm disappearing from there." Jake sat down beside her. "Luna, I think we need help. This is getting too complicated for us to figure out alone." "Help from who? How do you explain something like this to a doctor?" "Not a doctor. A scientist. Someone who studies weird stuff." Jake spent the morning searching online for researchers who might take their situation seriously. Most of the results were either science fiction writers or people who seemed a bit crazy. But then he found Dr. Collins, a physics professor at the local university who had written papers about consciousness and parallel dimensions. "Look at this," Jake said, showing Luna the computer screen. "Dr. Rebecca Collins. She's written about the possibility of consciousness existing in multiple realities at once." Luna read over his shoulder. "Do you think she'd believe us? There's only one way to find out." Jake called the university and managed to get Dr. Collins' email address. He spent an hour writing a careful message, trying to explain their situation without sounding completely insane. He described Luna's teleportation as a theoretical scenario and asked if Dr. Collins would be willing to discuss the scientific possibilities. To their surprise, Dr. Collins replied within a few hours. She was intrigued by their theoretical scenario and agreed to meet with them the next day. "I can't believe she said yes," Luna said. "Maybe she deals with weird stuff all the time. Or maybe she thinks we're writing a science fiction story." The next afternoon, they met Dr. Collins at her office on campus. She was a woman in her 50s with gray hair and kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. Her office was filled with books about physics and astronomy, and there were equations written on a whiteboard that covered one entire wall. "So," Dr. Collins said after they had introduced themselves, "tell me about this theoretical scenario of yours." Jake and Luna exchanged glances. They had decided to tell her the truth, but now that they were sitting in her office, it seemed impossible. "It's not exactly theoretical," Luna said quietly. "It's really happening to me." Dr. Collins raised an eyebrow. "What's really happening?" "I teleport," Luna said simply. "I disappear from one place and appear in another, and I think I'm traveling between parallel realities." Dr. Collins was quiet for a long moment. "Can you demonstrate this?" "I can't control when it happens completely, but I can try." Luna closed her eyes and concentrated. After a few minutes, she started to become transparent. Dr. Collins leaned forward in her chair, her eyes wide. "Remarkable," she whispered. "How are you doing this?" "I don't know," Luna said. "Becoming solid again. It just happens." Dr. Collins stood up and walked around her desk to get a closer look at Luna. "May I?" she asked, reaching out her hand. Luna nodded, and Dr. Collins touched her arm. "You're completely solid. This isn't a hologram or projection. You believe us?" Jake asked. "I believe what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is scientifically impossible, which makes it fascinating." Dr. Collins sat back down. "Tell me everything. Start from the beginning." They spent the next 2 hours telling Dr. Collins about Luna's accident, her first appearance in Jake's apartment, and everything that had happened since. Dr. Collins took notes and asked detailed questions about the timing, the sensations Luna experienced, and the increasing frequency of the teleportations. "Based on what you've told me," Dr. Collins said finally, "I have a theory. Luna, your consciousness has become quantum entangled with multiple realities. The accident that should have killed you somehow split your existence across parallel dimensions. What does that mean? Luna asked. It means you exist in several realities at once, but your consciousness can only focus on one at a time. When you teleport, you're not actually moving your body. You're shifting your conscious focus from one reality to another. But I can bring things with me, Luna said, like the spoon, because they're in contact with your quantum field. When the shift happens, you're pulling small pieces of one reality into another. Jake leaned forward. Is it dangerous? Dr. Collins looked serious. Potentially, yes. Each time Luna shifts between realities, she's creating instability in the quantum barriers that separate them. If she continues to shift frequently, or if she tries to exist in multiple realities simultaneously, those barriers could break down completely. What would happen then? Luna asked. The realities could merge, or they could collapse into each other. Either way, it would be catastrophic for both worlds. So I need to stop teleporting? You need to choose one reality and anchor yourself there permanently. The question is, which reality do you choose? Luna looked at Jake, then back at Dr. Collins. Is there a way to choose, or will I just get stuck wherever I happen to be? There might be a way, Dr. Collins said slowly, but it would require you to sever your connections to all other realities permanently. You could never go back. How will we do that? I'd need to do more research. This is completely theoretical territory, but I think it might involve using your ability to become partially transparent, and then making a conscious choice to become fully solid in one reality, while cutting off all the others. And if it doesn't work, you could end up scattered across multiple realities, existing fully in none of them. You'd essentially cease to exist. The room was quiet as they absorbed this information. Finally, Jake spoke up. How long do we have to decide? Dr. Collins looked at her notes. Based on the increasing frequency of Luna's appearances here, I'd say you have a few weeks at most. After that, the quantum barriers will be too unstable to repair. They thanked Dr. Collins and left her office with more questions than answers. As they walked across campus, Luna took Jake's hand. I'm scared, she said. Me too. But at least now we know what we're dealing with, do we? Because it sounds like no matter what I choose, I'm going to lose something important. Jake stopped walking and turned to face her. Luna, what do you want to do? I want to stay here with you, but I'm terrified of what that means for my other life. What if there are people there who care about me? What if I disappear and they never know what happened? Are there people who care about you there? Luna thought about it. A few friends from work. My neighbor who waters my plants when I'm away. But no one really close. No one like you. Then maybe the choice isn't as hard as you think. Maybe. But Jake, what if we're wrong about all of this? What if Dr. Collins is wrong? What if I try to anchor myself here and something terrible happens? Then we'll face it together. Jake said, whatever happens, we'll face it together. That night, Luna stayed at Jake's apartment again. She was getting stronger at fighting them, pulled back to her reality, but Jake could see it was taking a toll on her. She looked tired and fragile, like she was slowly fading even when she was solid. As they lay in bed together, the next morning, Luna woke up screaming. Jake sat up immediately, his heart pounding. Luna was thrashing in the bed, her eyes wide with terror. Luna, what's wrong? I can see them all. She gasped. All the realities at once? They're overlapping. I can't tell which one is real. Jake looked at her closely and felt his stomach drop. Luna was flickering like a broken television. One second she looked normal. The next second she was transparent, then solid again, then partially faded. It was happening so fast that it made him dizzy to watch. I can't control it, Luna said, her voice sounding like it was coming from far away. Something's wrong. The barriers are breaking down. Jake grabbed his phone and called Dr. Collins. Even though it was early morning, she answered on the second ring. Dr. Collins, it's Jake. Something's happening to Luna. She's flickering between realities and she can't stop it. Bring her to my lab immediately, Dr. Collins said. The quantum barriers are collapsing faster than I expected. Jake helped Luna get dressed, though it was difficult because she kept phasing in and out of solidity. When she was transparent, his hands passed right through her. When she was solid, She felt weak and shaky. I'm losing myself, Luna whispered. As they got into Jake's car, I can see myself in a dozen different realities. In one, I'm still at the bookstore. In another, I'm married to someone else. In another, I died in that car accident. I don't know which one is really me. You're you, Jake said, driving as fast as he could toward the university. You're the Luna who chose to be with me. That's what's real. Dr. Collins was waiting for them in her lab, which looked like something out of a science fiction movie. There were computers everywhere, strange machines with blinking lights, and a chair in the center of the room surrounded by metal coils. Sit here, Dr. Collins said, guiding Luna to the chair. I've been working all night on a way to stabilize your quantum signature. Will it work? Jake asked. I don't know. This is completely experimental. Dr. Collins attached sensors to Luna's forehead and arms. Luna, I need you to focus on this reality. Think about Jake. Think about his apartment. Think about everything that makes this world feel real to you. Luna closed her eyes and tried to concentrate, but she was still flickering. The sensors beeped frantically as they tried to read her unstable energy. It's not working, Dr. Collins said, frowning at her computer screen. She's dispersed across multiple realities. I can't get a stable reading. What does that mean? Jake asked. It means Luna is losing cohesion. Her consciousness is spreading out across all the realities she's connected to. If we don't anchor her soon, she'll exist partially in all of them, but fully in none. Like she'll become a ghost. Worse, she'll cease to exist entirely. Jake knelt down beside Luna's chair and took her flickering hand. Sometimes he could hold it. Sometimes his fingers passed through it. Luna, listen to me. You need to choose, right now. Pick this reality and hold on to it. I'm trying, Luna said, her voice fading in and out. But I can see all these other versions of my life. In some of them, I'm happy. In some of them, we never met. How do I know which one to choose? Choose the one where you love me, Jake said. Choose the one where I love you back. Luna opened her eyes and looked at him. For a moment, she became completely solid. I do love you, she said clearly. That's the one thing that's the same in every reality where we meet. Then hold on to that. Use that as your anchor. Dr. Collins was typing frantically on her computer. I'm detecting a pattern in her quantum signature. When she focuses on you, Jake, her energy stabilizes. What do I do? Jake asked. Keep talking to her. Keep her focused on this reality, on your relationship, on everything that makes this world unique. Jake took Luna's hand again, relieved when it felt solid and warm. Remember the first night you appeared in my bed, he said. You were so embarrassed and confused. You kept apologizing. Luna smiled weakly. You were so nice about it. You gave me your bathrobe. Remember when you appeared in my kitchen and I dropped my coffee mug, and I helped you clean it up? You made me coffee even though I had just scared you half to death. Remember last week, when we watched that terrible horror movie and you hid your face in my shoulder? It wasn't that scary. I just wanted an excuse to get closer to you. Jake laughed. I knew it. As they talked, Luna became more and more solid. The flickering slowed down, then stopped completely. Dr. Collins' machine showed her reading is stabilizing. It's working, Dr. Collins said. But this is just temporary, Luna. You need to make a permanent choice. I can help you anchor yourself in this reality, but it means cutting all connections to the others. You'll never be able to go back, Luna. Looked at Jake. What about my other life, my job, my apartment, my friends? What about them? Jake asked gently. If I anchor myself here, do I just disappear from there? Do my friends think I'm dead? Dr. Collins checked her readings. Based on my calculations, if you anchor yourself here, the other realities will adjust. They'll develop histories where you never existed, or where you moved away, or where something else happened to explain your absence. Reality has a way of filling in gaps. So I won't hurt anyone by leaving. No, the other realities will be fine without you. But once you make this choice, there's no going back. Luna was quiet for a long time. Jake could see her thinking through everything. Her old life, her new life, the risks, the possibilities. Jake, she said finally, What do you want me to do? I want you to be happy, Jake said. If staying here makes you happy, then stay. If going back makes you happy, then go. I'll understand either way. But what do you want for yourself? Jake took a deep breath. I want you to stay. I love you, Luna. I love having you in my life. But I can't make this choice for you. Luna smiled and squeezed his hand. I love you too. And I choose this reality. I choose you. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. Dr. Collins nodded. Then let's begin the anchoring process. Luna, I need you to use your ability to become transparent. But this time, instead of fading between realities, I want you to imagine cutting the connections to all the other worlds. How do I do that? Visualize them as threads or ropes connecting you to different places. Then imagine cutting those threads one by one until only the connection to this reality remains. Luna closed her eyes and became translucent. Jake watched nervously as she flickered again, but this time it seemed more controlled. I can see them, Luna said softly. The connections. They look like silver threads stretching out in all directions. Cut them, Dr. Collins said. One at a time, Luna concentrated hard. Jake could see her becoming more solid as she worked. The machines in the lab hummed and beeped as they recorded the process. There's one left, Luna said. A really strong thread connecting me to my original reality. That's the hardest one, Dr. Collins warned. Cutting that will make this permanent. Luna opened her eyes and looked at Jake. I'm ready. She closed her eyes again and focused all her energy on cutting that last connection. Jake held his breath as he watched her become completely transparent, then slowly, gradually, solid again. When she opened her eyes, she looked different, more present, more real, more here. How do you feel? Jake asked. Like I'm finally home, Luna said. Dr. Collins checked her readings. Remarkable. Your quantum signature is completely stable now. You're fully anchored in this reality. So it worked. You're here to stay. Luna stood up from the chair and hugged Jake tightly. She felt completely solid and real in his arms. Thank you, she said to Dr. Collins, for everything. Thank you for letting me witness something that science fiction writers only dream about. As they left the lab, Jake realized that his quiet, predictable life was officially over. But he couldn't be happier about it. So what happens now? Luna asked, as they walked to his car. Now we figure out how to build a life together. We get you an ID, a social security number, all the paperwork you need to exist officially in this reality, and then we do whatever we want. Maybe you can get a job at a bookstore here. Maybe I can teach you to code. Maybe we can travel the world together. Luna laughed. I've already traveled across dimensions. Regular travel seems pretty simple after that. There's just one thing I need to know, Jake said. What? In all those other realities you saw, in all those other versions of your life, was there any version where you were happier than you are right now? Luna thought about it seriously. No, she said finally. This is the happiest I've ever been. In any reality. Good, Jake said, opening the car door for her. Because this is just the beginning. As they drove back to what was now officially their apartment, Jake realized that sometimes the most extraordinary love stories start with the most ordinary moments. He had been sitting alone in his bed, living his quiet life, when Luna had literally dropped into his world. Now they had forever to figure out what came next. That evening, as they sat on their couch watching a movie, Luna curled up against Jake's side. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I had chosen differently? She asked. No, Jake said honestly. Because you didn't choose differently, you're here. We're together. That's all that matters, even though I'm not technically from this world. You're from this world now. You belong here just as much as anyone. Luna smiled and settled more comfortably against him. I love you, Jake. I love you too.